That's fine. You can just talk to me and we just forget that I'm recording, and then I'll just cut it.
Sure.
And make the big pieces important.
Yeah, sure.
Like what we need to get out of it important. Mm-hmm. And then we'll just go from there.
Okay. So the big thing, and I might drift a little bit, right? So
you always do, so
yeah. So the big thing there though is that, like, you know, like for example, like that lady Fox in the Flesh, she left that testimonial, but she did an amazing job at describing the process, but she described that process is the emotional model of medicine that is right in front of us, but we never actually acknowledge, right? So in a lot of my past videos, I make reference to the autonomic nervous system, or I make reference to brain function, which when you hear someone talking about that, you think mechanical process, right? You think, okay, the autonomic nervous system, like the body's under stress, and you hear all this stuff about fight or flight, right? Mm-hmm. And then you hear about all this stuff about the parasympathetic, and then you hear all this stuff about the brain. But the reason why it's important to you lay the foundation there is because you're talking about your brain function is part of it is there's storage houses there for your identity, right? And your identity is based on your past experiences, and those past experiences, they create defense mechanisms, which those defense mechanisms not only affect your brain function and your mind, but also your body. When you're in it, when it comes time for you to acknowledge that this is something that the brain is like, we don't want to go there, right? So it's counterintuitive of how the process works, because the process is actually, I have to actually drop my biggest strengths in order to get the prize that I want. And so that's where people get lost. It's in the, if I do this thing, I will get this result. It's not like that, because healing is spontaneous and it comes from within, and it will only come completely, and the gifts only come when you allow yourself to acknowledge there's something more there than the exterior, what's happening, the situation, the pain, even the pain. The pain is trying to get your attention. That's part of the intelligence. So again, so when they're talking about like the emotional release stuff, or some of the somatic therapy, or anytime you're looking at the emotional model of medicine, it's experiential. So that's really what you want to be able to. That's really what you want to be able to transmit. And then also too, like on the, you know, when you're putting yourself in the situation where like you're opening yourself up and sharing yourself, right? It's scary.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So, so there's people that like, they're like, I want to do this. And I was describing to you before, they get lost in the external. You can't do anything with it, right? So you have to, and then, now, does it mean that like that person is lost, or is it my responsibility to kind of like, do I need to now like embody more to lead them in a certain direction? Maybe, but maybe not, right? So it's really, it's an experiential thing, not only for the person being served, right? Or the person becoming vulnerable, but it's also for the practitioner, where it's like you're having respect for what a person's capacity is. Because again, that healing comes spontaneous, and it comes from somewhere outside of your control.